All right, continuing forward, just as we try to understand some of these issues related to macro practice, some of the points that I found to be really helpful in the article was just trying to focus on that concept of macro, because I really don't think that way. So obviously macro level approaches to problems include a systems perspective, but a very micro-minded person doesn't necessarily have that just like go-to perspective of being able to think about what a system actually entails. So being able to understand the evolution of St. Mary's program and all the little components really helped me to kind of understand all the little things that go into what a system is and a program and all of that. So, throughout the article, it talked about some of the resources that they had and how they grew and changed. And obviously, since they were founded, over 50 years ago, they have seen a lot of these social changes and have gotten to live through those. So, St. Mary's program can kind of help us understand the issues that not only individuals are struggling with as they relate to, the support or lack of support on an individual basis, but also of a system. If someone needs a house and there's no houses available, that's obviously a system failure or a lack thereof a basic resource. So, just looking at how those kind of intertwine, the macro resources that St. Mary's Center utilized in this article that it discussed was program design, community organizing, successful advocacy for the elderly and homeless populations, specifically grant writing, research, and assessing their own system and the system around them. So just kind of diving deeper into some of those specifics, I like to kind of just figure out what each of these things means, and kind of I like to define things for myself. So that's been really helpful for me to see how some of these big words were defined in a very tangible way through this program. So some of the specific ways that St. Mary's Center utilized some of the macro areas included, for program design, they kind of talked about their heartbeat of their organization, and it was a welcoming environment, and their basic structure was to have individuals' basic needs met first, and then to have clients participate in addiction or treatment programs when they're ready, which I really love, and that contributed to the success of their program. And to also have systems in place for when clients are ready for help kind of on the forefront instead of trying to force it. Like, you're homeless, you need a house right now, I have a house for you, come on. They're just more so ready and waiting for when someone's ready to ask for a house or for those resources. So that was a big the heartbeat of their program design was to be a steady place full of resources for when people are ready to have that support. So then regarding advocacy for the elderly population, their organization is focused on providing resources for people who are, I think, 50 or 55 and older. And it's good for them to have that specific target population, but also with them, they also have the entire community in mind because of that boundary, I guess. So some of the other areas that they used were grant writing to ask for funding, research, when they found successful methods to work with homeless elderly population, kind of they researched before and then they published this research, obviously. And then the assessment of systems in general was something that they had to just focus on to be a successful program. And then a quote that I just want to end with that I really loved was, "As a society, we have been slow to accept the growing need for age